I'm over here showing this condo, and I just did a film of the condo, so I'm going to, put that in there also. But I wanted to talk to you about if you're trying to lease something here in the Atlanta area. I'd be glad to help you, and I can help you. And like this one is going for $1,025. We used to rent it for $1,100. And then at one time we rented it for $950. It depends on the market, but now it is up to $1,025. It has hardwood floors, and through the other video you'll learn a lot about this. This is great. 40% of the people in Atlanta still rent, and they rent condos or apartments or townhomes, privately owned. And what you can also do is, as an investor, and I'm starting a group for women investors, and I'd like to invite you to join that if you think that would be something, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, that you wanted to get into. If you were an investor, like I would lease option this place myself, and then I would find the tenant to put into it. Now, doing wholesaling lease option, I can just match up the owner to the tenant, and I can walk away. This is what I'm doing in this one. I can walk away and I just get my fee, my assignment fee basically. But I lease optioned it first, had a contract with the owner, then I found the tenant who wants to do a long-term lease, so he'll pay a little bit more for a long-term lease. So then I matched them together. She likes it. She's putting her application down. She put her money down, and she's going to be taking it, and the money that she puts down is going to become my fee, and then the owner pays me another fee. And then I walk. Then he gets the cash flow. But what I do with some of them is I do the lease option on the property first, and I find the tenant or a tenant buyer. That's another story that we can go into. But let's say I find a tenant right now because he wants to hold it. And I bring them together, but I'm also going to manage the property monthly. And I will get the cash flow. The owner just wants to have no hassles. He doesn't want to do property management. He doesn't want to make any money up front. He just wants someone to be paying the bills and the mortgage and everything, the HOA, until the market turns around, and hopefully he can sell it himself. So we get a long-term tenant for some of those. We get a long-term tenant for some of those. But if he wants to flip it and I want to make a bigger money, I can do the same thing. I do the lease option on it, then I find the tenant buyer, not tenant, and so then I put the tenant buyer in place. Now the tenant buyer is going to come and bring usually 3 to 5% down. They put 5% down as a whole for the first year, but we can take 3% up front, and then they can pay the rest monthly or at quarterly, or even sometimes at the end of the first year. If they can't finance it, then they will pay it to renew it for another year. But with that, I get money when it closes as well. So I'm going to be getting some upfront money for the option fee. I'm going to be getting some cash flow each month to manage it. And the owner will be getting cash flow, and the owner will be getting a little bit upfront too. But I get more, than the owner does in this, because I'm doing 3 contracts and doing all the work. And then when it sells, I hope to make $10,000 cash on it. But I'll have already made like $5,000 and then $10,000, and then monthly. Now monthly I can get usually $150 to $200 a month. So that's 3 different ways that I can work as an investor to make money. And right now they're leasing up like crazy. I am having trouble getting people to want to put more money down to do a lease purchase, because I did the lease option. They have to do a lease purchase through me. But rent's fine too. It all depends what your owner wants, and mostly they just want relief, so it works really great. But it's great for women investors, and I say women because I have this mission, I guess, and it's a passion for it, because there are more women that die before their husbands do if they're married and they're left alone, or they get divorced and they were the wife and the husband took care of everything while they were married. the wife took care of the home, worked in the home, took care of the children, and then when they got divorced, like I have another one, and the husband just suddenly wanted a divorce, and the wife didn't want it, but she, you know, anyway, now she doesn't know what to do, really. She's a college graduate, but she's got to get back into the workforce, and she needs to make some money. So I was talking to her about investing, and she really wants to learn how to do this, and it's simple. You can get lots of books that you can read about it. You can read about a lot of it on the internet, but it's having somebody with you who can walk you through it and is there when you have a problem or an issue. So it's a coaching, and I do have a membership fee for this, and then I give classes, and you do pay for classes, but if you're a member, you just pay a little bit less for the classes than somebody else. We have workshops. We want to have fun at this too, but it's a passion that I have for women. I'm a woman, and I want to help other women. I want to help. For years, I worked in the restaurant business when I was raising my 2 daughters myself, and I was working in the neighborhood pubs, which were fun and great and made great money, but I spent a lot of my money too. I didn't invest, and I got into property management for apartments, and I always had a free rent, or a free apartment, excuse me, discounted rent or a free apartment, and never bought anything. And when I finally bought, and this is for another video, but when I finally bought, I had waited too long. I didn't jump on that bandwagon when it came by. I jumped on it the year that it started going down, 2006, when I bought my first property, which I'll tell you about that in another video. And I really think I have something to share with women. Now, there's going to be a lot of women that know more about this than I do, but I've been doing this for 15 years now, so I think I've got a pretty good, knowledge of it. But each deal, each contract is different because you have different people, different circumstances, and that's what makes it exciting too. And it can be fun. And this group that we're going to be, I'm inviting you to join, we're going to be having like a 60-day challenge, and I'll tell you all about that later. But it's going to be not just you and me, it's going to be, I'm looking to have about 10 to 15 women in that one group, and we're all going to rally around each other when you get your first appointment to go see a seller, when you get your first time you're going to put your bandit signs out, and we all help each other. So we help that one, then we help the other one, and then it's your turn and we help you, and it's a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun, and you can learn how to make some money too. And we got to think of our future. We got to think of our retirement. And this is something that if you do it right, real estate will always be around because people need a place to live. And you want to make some money. So, and this is not talking about working through the banks. This is not working through the banks. But I am sort of ranting on, so I want to just end this for now. And you can find me right now on Leasing Up Atlanta. But I've also started a new website, which is barely, it's beginning. I haven't really launched it yet, but it's called Go Lease Options. And that's going to be great. You can, look there. I'm on Facebook as Buy to Flip. So look up Buy to Flip. And no, that's not Facebook. Excuse me, that's Twitter. So it's Buy to Flip. And then on Facebook, I'm Shirley Wells-Farrington. But I'm glad you're here. You're listening to this, so you're meant to be here. And I'm doing this in Atlanta, Georgia, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, for the live workshops and all. But you can learn some of these tactics no matter where you live. I was born in New Jersey. I grew up in Lauderdale and Miami. I lived and worked in Pensacola, Florida. So, you might be living in one of those places where we can relate to. I used to work for an airline, so I used to travel. I stayed in Houston, I stayed in Boston, I stayed in San Francisco, LA. Never went out of the country though. Met my husband instead, and he was in the military, so we had military life for a while. But anyway, you can reach me through www.leasingupatlanta or not mine. I've got another one coming up though. It's called My Rent to Own Coach. But the one that's open now is